emerald tree, if it grows well outside, not in this tiny garden pot. This is in a garden pot. If it goes outside on land, it will definitely grow into a tree. And why is it called emerald tree? Look at these shiny leaves, very shiny. The green leaves, because emerald is a gem with a green shine. That's why this is known as emerald tree. It depends on where it is grown. Definitely in a small garden pot like this, it can't grow much because it will certainly be root bound. Here is another plant. This is the plant known as bush on fire. Just because these new leaves look at it, they look like flames. So this is Eugenia, one variety of Eugenia. These are the flowers of Eugenia, and you can see tiny fruits also there. Only the fresh leaves have this beautiful color. So if you need more beautiful leaves, maybe you'll have to trim so that new leaves will come up frequently. This is another Eugenia plant of the same variety. There is also another variety known as liver red, in which instead of this pinkish color, it will be dark pink. That is Eugenia liver red. This is usual Eugenia plant only. And this is another plant. This is known as Hawaiian tea plant, better known as a good luck plant. The belief is that these plants will bring good luck to you. That is not the belief in this region, but in the Hawaii. And the interesting part is that when there's plenty of water and it is not very sunny, the leaves are very beautiful. But if it is very sunny, this is how the leaves look like, dull, greenish. And if it is too sunny, the plant's leaf may also burn off. So that very bright sunlight is not tolerated by this Hawaiian tea plant. In the rainy season or in slight shade, they look extremely beautiful. This is another chenol or emerald tree plant. This is a type of palm tree or plant grown in a tiny garden pot. This plant is known as ribbon grass. It's interesting in that some leaves are variegated while others are not. Part of it has lost its variegation. Moving on to a large garden pot. Here you have plenty of interesting types of plants. This one is a sweet corn plant. It's a sweet corn plant. I had grown it from seeds in another smaller garden pot and it was replanted here. It is coming up well. These are Ixora plants. These two Ixora plants had been rooted from stem cuttings, but it took a long time for them to grow up. These are red amaranth plants coming up from seeds bought online. Here you have Denium. This twig, I would say, or stem cutting took almost 2 months for rooting. Initially, it seemed as if it had dried off, but with the onset of monsoon, it has sprouted. And as this is a big garden pot, 23 inches, I'm sure this Adenium will grow well and in the next summer produce plenty of flowers as well. These are all bougainvilleas, and with the rain there is hardly any flower. Yes, there is some flowers, a few flowers are there, but the usual feature of bougainvillea is that when you have heavy rains, there won't be flowers at all. This is another variety of ribbon grass. It's another interesting set of plants. These are known as Chinese croton. When you look from the top, they have variegated leaves. This particular branch has lost its variegation. It's from the same plant. I have shown you the ribbon grass which has lost its variegation. Similarly, this branch has lost its variegation. Variegation means multiple colors. See the underside of this. Underside is totally different. It's a peculiarity of these Chinese croton plants. There are quite a few of them here, all in small garden pots. A few more good luck plants are Hawaiian tea plants. This is a lemon cypress plant. Will grow up like a Christmas tree. Wonderful leaves are there. This is being grown in a larger garden pot. So bye for now. See you with another set tomorrow. Story of the rescued papaya. This papaya plant germinated from thrown away seeds. It grew from beneath the granite boulder seen in the left upper corner of the inset picture. The boulder had to be moved meticulously to give space to the small plant, taking special care not to damage it. The plant can grow into a sparsely branched tree which can be several feet tall. Leaves are confined to the top of the tree. Leaves are palmately lobed as can be seen in the photo. All parts of the plant contain latex. The plant produces both male and female flowers. Flowers are born in the leaf axils. Female flowers develop into fruits later. Now the papaya plant has grown to be taller than the granite boulder from underneath which it had started growing a month back. The number of lobes on each leaf has increased. To begin with, it was only 3, while now it is 5. Serrations on each leaf has also increased as the plant is growing. Still another month later, the stem has become thicker and sturdier. Flower buds have started appearing at the axils. Look like male flowers, though they are quite small for me to identify accurately. Here is a close-up of the buds. The tip of the plant has been broken off and new leaves seem to be originating from the axils. Let us see how many branches develop well. Usually, papaya tree is known to have very few branches, if any. Here is the current status of the plant, now like a shrub, but hopefully will grow into a tree in the near future. Look out for updates on this rescued papaya as well as other aspects of nano horticulture at my city dwelling with space constraints. This is an update to the carrot growing project. In this video clip, you can see the carrot plants dancing in the gentle breeze and enjoying the bright sunlight. Here is a better view in another angle with the plants swaying a bit more as the breeze has become more vigorous. Part of the previous carrot growing time-lapse video follows for those who missed the previous one. Prepared one pot with soil and vermicompost bought online. Second pot was with soil alone. Seeds were purchased online and sown. Watered them regularly and a few saplings came up. But I was not sure whether it was carrot saplings or weeds as I have not seen them before. I checked out online pictures and thought that they almost matched with these and posted them online at my blog on 21/12/2020. This is the picture on 27/12/2020. By this time, a few more new types of leaves had sprung up which matched well with the online pictures, and I was sure that it was carrot plants and not weeds. I had constant encouragement from my followers on Twitter for this project, though they were not agriculturalists by profession. This picture was taken on 11/1/2021 and you can see that the plants are growing well to my satisfaction. But I will not be able to tell you whether the time span of growth is as expected as I do not have a past experience of growing carrot plants. I continue to water them twice a day and gave some top-up vermicompost covered by a little extra soil. I had pulled out a few plants which were not growing well but replanted them in other pots. This is one of the pots with good growth as on 29/1/2021. This is another pot with fewer number of plants but with good growth. Two of the plants which I had replanted are here. The growth is less but still growing. Another pot with a replanted plant has lesser growth. I am still waiting to see whether these carrot plants will grow up to maturity and what will be the produce. Look out for an update later as carrots are supposed to take 60 to 80 days to grow well. This video is a continuation of the carrot growing project. I read somewhere that carrot plants will flower only in the second year. Here is my carrot plant flowering within 4 months. You can see several ants moving around the flowers, hopefully acting as pollinators. This is an update to the carrot growing project. Small carrot is developing below the soil. As you can see, part of the soil over the carrot root has been removed in one plant to check for the development of the carrot. I was quite happy to see a small carrot developing. The okra growth story continues. Of the two okra fruits seen here, one is almost ready for harvest. The other one has to wait. A few buds are also seen. Here is another fruit ready for harvest. It is slightly more mature than the previous one. Let us see how they taste on cooking. Finally, we have decided to harvest them and here they are. A couple of nice looking okra fruits. Previously posted okra growth story follows for those who missed it earlier. It is an okra growth time-lapse video taking you through various stages of growth. The okra growth story. This is how it started as a tiny sapling with just 2 leaves 1 week after sowing the seeds. It had sprouted in just 3 days after planting. The image on the right side with 4 leaves was captured 12 days after the first one. Okra is better known as lady's finger. It is a good source of vitamin A and C. Like other vegetables, it has plenty of fiber content. Cholesterol and sodium content are given as 0, while potassium, magnesium and calcium content are fair. There is hardly any fat content. Okra plants are growing further in this picture taken another fortnight later. It seems like a few flower buds are forming at the tip, but one cannot be very sure until it develops further, as it is a bit too early to bear flowers for this small plant. Remnants of turmeric spray is seen on the leaves, sprayed in an attempt to keep off parasites. Like my pea and carrot plants, okra also received an initial supply of vermicompost bought online. It was covered with a bit of additional soil. Watering was done twice daily to prevent the plants from drying up in hot sun during daytime. Still another 12 days later, when this picture was taken, a few flower buds are clearly seen, but some of these buds do not bloom and fall off prematurely. Couple of pots with carrot plants are seen on either side in the upper part of the picture. Part of another okra plant is also visible. Hi, the okra bud has bloomed into a beautiful flower. The flower has a resemblance to the shoe flower. After all, both belong to the same plant family of Malvaceae. One more beautiful flower and the previous flower has borne fruit. It is heartening to see such a small plant bearing fruit. You can see another plant twig given as a support, fearing that the fruits will cause the plant to fall. Here the okra fruit has grown further but not yet ready for harvest, or so I feel. The seeds were bought online, so I have no idea of how much this variety will grow. In my childhood days, if I remember correct, the okra plants used to be bigger by the time the flowers and fruits appeared. But those were planted in soil and not in pots like this one. So the okra growth story continues. A new set of seeds were sown, this time in soil on the ground. They have sprouted and reached the 4-leaf stage. Weeds have also started coming up. Watch out for my next video on another vegetable in my nano horticulture. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for future updates. and click on the bell icon for all updates. Thank you. I was under the impression that growing curry leaves would be an easy option, but it has turned out to be a tough one. This small curry leaves plant was brought from a relative's house and planted in this pot. Curry leaves are added to most Indian dishes to give a good flavor and odor. Please subscribe to this channel for future updates. Click on the subscribe button. Press the bell icon after that for all updates. Curry leaves can develop into shrubs and even small trees if good care is given. Sometimes they grow by themselves, as seen in many old households. Birds help in distribution of plants sometimes by carrying the fruits containing seeds. In horticulture, plants are often grown using stem cuttings which spring roots and leaves when planted. But my plant withered away, shedding all leaves. I have just tried replanting it in soil and am waiting for the results. Another plant brought from the same place was planted in soil right from the beginning. This plant also shed all its leaves and remained so for some time, but it has sprouted fresh leaves, and this is the current picture. Tried buying a few plants from the local nursery grown in grow bags. This is one of them, seen in a background of other garden plants. In a few days, caterpillars started eating the leaves. I had to remove them and shifted the plant to this location. After some time, almost all leaves got damaged due to some infestation. Tried spraying dilute turmeric suspension but did not seem to work. I pruned off all the leaves and kept the plants bare. Fortunately, new leaves sprang up in all the plants. Soon they developed flower buds as seen in this picture. Remnants of turmeric suspension is also seen on the leaves. The buds bloomed into nice white flowers as seen here. The inflorescence was removed as per a relative's advice, who had mentioned that the plants will stop producing new leaves otherwise. We also started harvesting the leaves when needed. We did not want to leave them to any new set of caterpillars or infestations. Look out for my new videos on my urban nano horticulture. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for future updates and click on the bell icon for all updates. Thank you. This is the story of a Ritz gourd plant and illustrating positive geotropism. Ritz gourd seedling with 2 cotyledons just a couple of days old. Ritz gourd is grown for its unripe fruits, which is used as a vegetable. It is a tasty vegetable. Please subscribe to this channel for future updates. Click on the subscribe button. Press the bell icon after that for all updates. Mature fruits have plenty of fibers and can be used as a natural cleaning sponge in the kitchen. It was also used as a body scrub for bath. This is after processing to remove everything except the network of xylem fibers. If the fruit is allowed to remain on the vine after maturing, the outer covering falls off. The seeds inside can be shaken off and you get an excellent natural scrub or sponge. The Ritz gourd sapling is now growing further. 2 more leaves have opened up and another is on the way. Interestingly, this is the only seed which germinated of the 5 which were planted. The Ritz gourd vine is now climbing upon a twine using its tendrils. 4 tomato plants are seen in the top right part of the picture as well. Ritz gourd showing typical positive geotropism. It is not growing along the twine kept for its tendrils to hold. The plant grows up every day and I have to reroot it to grow along the twine. Usually, plant shoots have positive geotropism and roots have negative geotropism. Look out for my next video on my urban nano horticulture. The sunflower is a radiant annual plant famous for its massive golden flower heads and unique ability to track the sun. Cultivated for thousands of years, every part of the plant offers distinct agricultural, commercial or aesthetic value. Small taberna is a dwarf or miniature variety. The leaves are smaller, so are the flowers, unlike its bigger brother, which I will show you shortly. These are evergreen perennial shrubs highly prized for their tiny, pristine, white, pinwheel-shaped flowers, compact growth habit, making them perfect for container gardening and small balconies. Here we have the bigger brother, Taberna, with the larger flowers and leaves. And speciality of this particular plant is that it is having variegated leaves, unlike the dark green leaves of the previous one. Growing roses successfully at home depends completely on whether you select full-sized garden roses or compact potted miniature varieties. While classic garden roses require vast outdoor spaces and intense maintenance, miniature roses, commonly called button roses, are specifically bred to thrive in pots, balconies, and confined urban settings. Celosia is a genus of striking, low-maintenance, annual flowering plants from the amaranth family, famously known for their velvety textures and fiery, long-lasting colors. They are also known as coxcomb because of the resemblance to the coxcomb. Jasmine is a highly popular genus of aromatic shrubs and climbing vines belonging to the olive family. Renowned globally for their sweet, intoxicating fragrance, jasmine flowers hold a deeply rooted cultural significance across India. Marigolds are incredibly hardy, cheerful annual plants belonging to the daisy family. They carry festive significance, forming the backbones of festival garlands. Beyond their beautiful looks, they serve as fantastic companion plants in kitchen gardens because their root and leaf aromas naturally repel destructive pests like whiteflies, nematodes, and aphids. Morning glories are fast-growing, vigorous annual climbing vines famous for their stunning trumpet-shaped flowers. True to their name, the blossoms unfold fresh in the early morning sunlight and typically curl up and close by afternoon. They feature slender climbing stems, delicate heart-shaped leaves, and twisting tendrils. This makes them a top choice for quickly covering outdoor structures like fences, balconies, and garden walls. Balsam is a vibrant, fast-growing annual flowering plant native to India and Myanmar. It is famous for its juicy, succulent stems, lance-shaped leaves, and brilliant cup-shaped blooms that closely resemble miniature roses tucked along the main stalk. Balsam plants are widely loved for their explosive seed pods, which instantly burst open and scatter their seeds when touched. Bright red ixora is a stunning, sun-loving tropical evergreen shrub native to southern India, famously known as jungle flame, flame of the woods, etc. It is highly celebrated for its large, dense, ball-like clusters of fiery star-shaped florets that bloom continuously throughout the year. Light pink ixora, often called flamingo pink, offers a softer, more delicate aesthetic compared to the blazing red variety. This tropical evergreen perennial is loved for its dense, pom-pom-like clusters of pastel star-shaped flowers that contrast beautifully against its deep green, glossy foliage. Bright pink ixora delivers an incredibly energetic, punchy pop of tropical color that sits perfectly between the hot crimson red and pale pastel pink varieties. This hardy evergreen perennial shrub is widely celebrated for producing massive, tight, sphere-shaped clusters of vivid neon pink star-shaped flowers that bloom almost non-stop all year round. White ixora offers a peaceful, sophisticated look compared to its brightly colored sibling plants. This tropical evergreen perennial shrub is loved for producing large, dense, umbrella-shaped clusters of snowy, star-shaped flowers that contrast beautifully against its deep green leathery leaves. Table roses, scientifically known as Portulaca grandiflora, are popular sun-loving succulent annuals belonging to the porcelain family. They are also called 10 o'clock flowers because their cheerful rose-like blooms open fully with bright morning sun and naturally close down by late afternoon or on cloudy days. Sunset bells are highly unique shade-loving tropical perennial plants belonging to the African violet family. They are loved for creating an ever-blooming illusion. While their tiny bright yellow inner flowers last only a single day, they grow out of fiery cup-like orange-red calyxes that remain beautifully intact on the plant for several weeks. These flowers are not flowers which will give you bitter gourd. You can see it has a thin stalk and there is no fruit behind it. Those are male flowers which will not give bitter gourd to you. But look at this one. This one is a female flower. You can see the tiny bitter gourd beneath the flower. And this was probably which has opened yesterday or so. I have another one here. This you can see which is covered with a plastic cover to avoid caterpillar attacks. That is what happens is when caterpillars attack this, the bitter gourd becomes spoiled. So you have to protect them with covers. I like to do that for this flower also, because you shouldn't do it before the pollination is over. If it's done before the pollination is over, naturally the flower will just fall off and there will be no bitter gourd. And the plant is growing well. You can see the plant well. This is a curry leaves plant. You can see the curry leaves plant has grown like very well. It took several years for this plant to get established, because they say that you should not pluck leaves from curry leaves during the first year. That's because the plant needs to establish its root system before you can try plucking leaves. If you start plucking very early, plant will not get a chance to establish its root system. This is a better plant, taller plant. You can see it has grown much better than this one. And this is another plant, curry leaves plant. One of the branches had broken and I had removed that branch. You can see that some of these leaves are barren. That's because caterpillars have attacked them. Caterpillars, especially of the Mormon butterfly, are very fond of finishing off the leaves. If you miss the caterpillar for a couple of days, caterpillar will grow very fat and the leaves will be thinned out. So I would have missed the caterpillar 1 or 2 days. That's how only the ribs are remaining here. You can see only the ribs are remaining here. While here they are good leaves. Please note that the caterpillars attack only tender leaves. These leaves usually are not attacked. They will be very fond of these tender leaves. That's how it goes on. And this is an orange plant. You can see this also has been here for several years, but it is yet to flower or fruit. It is fairly well established. Maybe the roots are not, because soil is not probably in plenty here. That's why the roots would not have established much. And going down to container gardening, it's a new okra or lady's finger plant coming up. The growth is not very good. And this is a red amaranth plant. You can see a red amaranth plant here. This is another okra plant here, lady's finger plant. This is an interesting situation. This is a cauliflower plant which should have given cauliflowers long back, because the stem has grown like a woody stem. Actually, this is not the original plant. When it had grown too much, I had cut off top and planted here. Unfortunately, it started growing again, but no cauliflowers yet. I don't know why. There's another interesting part of it. This is another cauliflower plant, actually layered from the original one. The original one, which I said was the other plant, or rather the parent plant of that. But this also grew very well with a tall stem, but unfortunately no cauliflower yet. In between, I read that it could be due to boron shortage. I had sprayed boron on the leaves, nothing happened. Now with the heavy monsoon, the leaves have wilted off. That's how this has become rather bare here. Growing grapes in a tropical, humid environment can be incredibly rewarding, though it requires specific strategies to manage the heat and the monsoon season. Grapes need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily. Choose a spot with maximum exposure to prevent moisture buildup on leaves. Grapevines hate wet feet. In areas with heavy rainfall, plant them in slightly elevated mounds or ensure the soil is sandy, loamy with excellent drainage. Dig a pit of approximately 1 into 1 into 1 meter, fill it with a mix of topsoil, well-rotted cow manure or compost, and a bit of bone meal. In a backyard setting, the Pandal system, overhead arbor, is often the most effective. Construct a sturdy frame of about 6 to 7 feet using GI pipes or treated wood. Training the vine to spread across a flat overhead canopy allows for better air circulation and easier harvesting. It also provides a cool shaded area underneath for your garden. I do not have such an option, so I have tried growing on a wall. Pruning is very important for grapes. Usually 2 prunings are performed per year. Summer pruning, that is for growth, done to encourage vegetative growth. Winter or post-monsoon pruning, this is the foundation pruning, where you cut back the vines to encourage flowering and fruiting. Use organic fertilizers like neem cake and vermicompost. During the fruiting phase, a potassium-rich fertilizer like wood ash can help increase the sweetness of the berries. Managing the monsoon, keep the canopy thinned out to ensure wind can pass through. If possible, a transparent UV sheet roofing over the trellis can prevent direct rain from hitting the leaves, significantly reducing fungal issues without blocking the sun. Instead of a pandal in confined spaces, vertical training is also possible. I have trained it on a sunny wall. It can be like a decorative grid. This keeps the fruit accessible and looks like living art against the house. Container gardening is also an option in urban areas.
Use 50-liter or larger drum or high quality grow bag. Ensure you drill plenty of drainage holes. Use a very open potting mix. 1 part soil, 1 part coarse sand and 1 part compost. This prevents the root rot often caused by heavy monsoon rains. Using a container allows you to move the plant slightly if a particular corner gets too damp or shaded during different seasons. Grapes have vigorous, deep-reaching roots. If planting directly into the ground near a building, which is there in my case as well, maintain at least 2 to 3 feet of distance from the wall. If the space is extremely tight, consider installing a root barrier, a heavy-duty plastic or concrete slab buried vertically to encourage the roots to grow away from the house structure. Otherwise, it can go into the house structure as well, that is the basement. In a confined area, humidity gets trapped easily. You must be more aggressive with leaf thinning than you would be in an open field. Ensure you can always see through the foliage to some extent to let the breeze pass through. Artificial pollination or assisted pollination is a management practice used in jackfruit cultivation to overcome pollination deficits and ensure the development of high quality uniform fruits. Jackfruit is a monoecious species, meaning it produces separate male and female inflorescences, also called spikes, on the same tree and is naturally pollinated by wind and insects. The jackfruit is a multiple fruit syncarp formed by the fusion of numerous individual fruitlets. Each fruitlet develops from a single female flower within the female spike. For a fruit to achieve a symmetrical, well-filled shape, a high percentage of these individual flowers must be successfully pollinated. Inflorescence identification. Male spikes smaller, slender and usually appear on younger branches. They produce a yellowish green pollen dust when mature. Female spikes larger, thicker and emerge from the main trunk or older primary branches, cauliflory. They have a distinct pebbly surface representing the individual stigmas. Natural constraints. Pollination often fails due to asynchronous receptivity, temporal mismatch between pollen shed and stigma receptivity, or the placement of female spikes in areas unexposed to wind or pollinators, such as deep within the canopy or close to the trunk. The artificial pollination process. Manual intervention involves the physical transfer of pollen from a mature male spike to a receptive female spike. Optimal timing. Hand pollination should be performed early in the morning, typically between 5 am and 10 am, when pollen dehiscence is at its peak and stigmas are most receptive. Selection and collection. Identify a mature male spike which is recognizable by its yellow color or the visible dusting of pollen on its surface. For direct pollination, the spike can be harvested. For indirect methods, a small soft bristled paintbrush or cotton swab can be used to collect the pollen. Application technique. Direct contact. Gently rub or roll the mature male spike over the entire surface of the receptive female spike. Brush method. Use a paintbrush to transfer collected pollen onto the female spike, ensuring even coverage across all fruitlets to prevent lopsided fruit growth. Frequency. Repeated applications every other day for 6 days have been shown to maximize fruit set. Scientific benefits of assisted pollination. Research indicates that artificial pollination significantly outperforms natural pollination in several key metrics. Fruit set and shape. Artificial pollination can achieve a 94 to 100% fruit set compared to much lower rates in natural conditions. It ensures the development of an oblate spheroid shape, whereas natural pollination often results in deformed or irregular fruits. Yield and quality. Studies have shown that assisted pollination can increase the number of developed fruitlets and seeds by over 30%, leading to a higher edible yield and increased fruit weight. Seed development. The number of seeds per kilogram of fruit can increase by approximately 46% with artificial pollination, which is a key indicator of successful fertilization across the multiple flowers of the spike. I am keenly observing the growth of my sweet corn plants, as this is the first time I am trying to grow them, that too in containers. It's a remarkably good growth. I can see it, or rather feel it very well. The previous video clip was taken today. This clip was 4 days back on 31st May. You can see the difference. There is a good difference between these two video clips, and previous video clips follow as recap. I am trying to grow sweet corn in containers for the first time. I am really surprised with the rapidity at which they are growing. Earlier I had posted that they are very rapid growers and need a lot of fertilizers and water. I can see that visibly in a short period itself. Can you grow sweet corn in containers? Yes, you can absolutely grow sweet corn in containers, and it is a fantastic addition to the other container vegetables you are already growing, like tomatoes, bitter gourd and okra. Because corn has some unique requirements compared to other veggies, here is what you need to know to get a successful harvest in a container. Choose the right variety. Standard corn grows extremely tall and has extensive root systems, making it difficult to manage in containers. You will want to look for seeds explicitly labeled as dwarf, mini or compact. Corn is a heavy feeder and has a substantial root system, so your container size is critical. You need a container that is at least 12 inches deep and 12 inches wide. Though a 16-inch depth is preferred, a 30-gallon or large fabric grow bag is ideal. Ensure the container has plenty of drainage holes. You can add an inch of gravel to the bottom to help prevent waterlogging. Use a rich, high-quality potting mix. Mix in a slow-release fertilizer or plenty of compost before planting, as corn needs a lot of nitrogen to fuel its rapid growth. Corn is wind pollinated. The pollen from the tassels at the top of the plant needs to fall into the silks of the ears below. If you plant corn in a single straight row, the wind will just blow the pollen away. Instead, plant your corn in blocks or clusters within the container. For a large container like a half barrel or 30-gallon tot, you can plant 5 to 6 stalks spaced about 4 inches apart in a circular or grid pattern. When growing in containers, you don't have the mass of plants needed for reliable wind pollination. To ensure your crops are full of kernels, you should hand pollinate. Every morning for about a week after the tassels, the fuzzy parts at the top, open and start shedding yellow pollen. Gently shake the stalks to help the pollen fall. Alternatively, brush the tassels with a soft paintbrush to collect pollen, and then gently brush that pollen onto the silks, the stringy parts coming out of the developing ears. Corn is incredibly thirsty. In a container, the soil will dry out much faster than in the ground. You likely need to water it daily, especially during hot Indian summer months, keeping the soil consistently moist but not soggy. Because corn is such a heavy feeder, apply a liquid fertilizer or top dress with compost halfway through its growing cycle when it is about knee high. Okra, also known as lady's finger, is a warm season vegetable that thrives in hot, humid conditions. It is relatively easy to grow and highly productive if provided with the right environment. I have been growing different varieties of okra both in garden pots near my home as well as on ground soil in compounds. Okra requires full sun, at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight daily. It is not shade tolerant and will produce fewer pods in low light conditions. It prefers well drained, fertile loamy soil. It can tolerate a range of soil types but struggles in heavy clay that retains too much water. Ideally, pH should be between 6 to 7. Mix in plenty of organic compost or aged manure before planting to improve drainage and nutrient content. If planting in regions with heavy rainfall, consider raised beds to prevent waterlogging, which can cause root rot. Okra has a hard seed coat which can lead to slow germination. Soak seeds in warm water for 12 to 24 hours before sowing to soften the coat and speed up sprouting. Plant when soil temperature are consistently above 18 degrees centigrade, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. In tropical climates, it can be grown year-round, though performance is best during the transition into the rainy season or during the summer. Spacing and depth: 1 inch deep pits for sowing and spacing 12 to 18 inches, that is 30 to 45 centimeter, in rows spaced 3 feet, that is 90 centimeter apart. Container gardening: use a pot at least 5 gallons in size for a single plant, ensuring it has excellent drainage. Keep the soil consistently moist but never soggy. During the flowering and fruiting stages, regular watering is critical. In hot weather, deep watering every few days is more effective than light daily sprinkling. Apply a balanced fertilizer like 10-10-10 at planting. Side dress with compost or nitrogen-rich fertilizer once the plants reach about 12 inches tall and again when they start flowering. Apply a layer of organic mulch, straw or dried leaves to suppress weeds and retain soil moisture. Okra grows very rapidly once it begins to flower. Check the plants every day or two. Pods can go from tender to woody and inedible within 48 hours. Harvest when pods are 4 to 6 inches long. Use garden shears or a sharp knife to cut the stem above the pod. Do not pull them off as the stems are tough and you may damage the plant. Some varieties have tiny prickly hairs that can irritate the skin. Wear gloves or long sleeves when harvesting. To prolong the harvest, remove older, oversized pods even if you don't plan to eat them. You can store them in a refrigerator for use after a few days as well. If pods are left to mature and dry on the plant will stop producing new flowers and focus its energy on seed production instead.